Vibra, how you doing, brother? Sticker guy, how are you doing today? Nice to have you here.
Appreciate you having me on.
For all people that don't know Vibra, he's been a part of this whole ecosystem for quite a while. And I mean, most people that are listening now know Sticker Guy. He's part of the crew, so to say, the KSB team. Has been in Zurich too. And yeah, Vibram, I'm always really down, first of all, to get you a little presented. Who are you, so to say? How long have you been in the game, in the crypto game? How long in Hex, more or less? And what you're up to, so people get to know who you are from yourself.
Yeah. So I got into crypto in 2017, right at the top at the bull run. I was out in Vegas, and people of degens are in Las Vegas. So once you hear about crypto for the 50th time, you're like, all right, I got to look at this. So typical story. Got bought into Chainlink, watched it go up, watched it all come back down, and said, screw this. And then came back in the summer of 2019. I got back into it, actually won some money on an online poker tournament, and saw that I could withdraw in a bunch of cryptos that I couldn't get in New York State. So I was like, okay, so that kind of got me going down the rabbit hole, and it just became full time in about 2021. Started a consulting company, and just ever since been researching, helping people out, and trying to figure out where the space is going, what the hot narratives are going to be, and where retail is going to FOMO into once they get here.
Yeah, great. Also, before we start this whole stream here in our Telegram groups, how I introduced it was like really good blockchain researcher and early investor. And that's how I see you, because you're not the guy who's normally investing in stuff that's already out there forever, but more like looking for the new narratives when it's starting, when there's a low market cap. And yeah, that's why I also thought always your content is that interesting, because I feel like a lot of people, they're listening to the big voices in the space when it's already pumping, and it's mostly FOMO buying. And I'm personally not a FOMO buyer. I'm more like the try to be early in the game guy and build the position up.
That's such a good point. And once you hear about stuff from the bigger accounts, it's too late. And it's very few people have the ability to look at crypto in a longer time frame and say, okay, I see where this is going. I have the ability to buy in low, even though I know it's not going to go anywhere for the next 6 months, 12 months. Like when you're in the middle of a bear market, that's okay. You buy on Friday, it goes down 10%. You buy again next Friday, and it goes down another 10%. Like that's how it goes for everybody. And once you accept that, and you can kind of stomach the kind of sideways or downturns, you can, once the bull market and things started turning around, the projects that we found outside Pulse Chain started to pump, and we saw it last cycle. I was into Hex and the adoption amplifier really early, and have been with Richard since day one, and his products moved last cycle. We decoupled from the market at one point. So I wish people, the bigger influencers in our space, would kind of tell people, it's okay that we don't go anywhere. We typically move after Ethereum. All this expectations of this 1000x, or we're going to do 1,000,000x with Pulse X when it launches. Like I was telling everybody, I think it could do maybe a 10x at most, and then we're going to dump so hard. And it's tough. People want to hear I'm getting rich tomorrow, and unfortunately, it's really not how it works. Wealthy people, they build that wealth over a lifetime.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I feel like it's something we also say often. It's a patience game. It's not an emotions game, and people are fucking too emotional. I mean, like everybody is, but like this is the whole thing about crypto. You have to make yourself kind of into a robot brain, into objectiveness, not into like, hey, I try to be rich as possible, as quick as possible. I need the money. I don't want to work anymore. Yeah, we all don't. Who does want to work for 40 years until 65 and probably sick already and can't enjoy the money? I'm agreeing, but it's more like sometimes it's good to be patient, sometimes it's good to DCA, and sometimes it's good to sell and not be emotional over-invested into the whole thing. Because I feel like that's something that so much hexicans happened to, with a bull cycle, hex bull cycle, I'm saying, having like a 50-cent hex and having paper gains and millions of dollars, and then having to look how this whole thing evaporates. And yeah, that's been pretty sick. I mean, like, people were too much quality about this. Like, it can't go down. It's a it's a store of value. It's going to keep its value even in a bear market. No, sorry. I also wished, but no. I also bought because I thought it would, you know, not as high as 50 cents. That would be pretty depressed right now. But yeah, I feel you. I feel like it's like something that's really important is to be honest to yourself about like Richard is a goat. I mean, he's super intelligent. I'm not doubting all of this, but like it doesn't mean to buy it at any moment and to only have five stakes, you know. At least that's what I'm thinking. What are your thoughts on that?
Yo, I staked more hex today. I bought more T-shares. Let's fucking go.
E? Can we ask if it's an E or a P in front of the X?
I staked it on post-chain because like it's just, yeah. I could have had so much more T-shares on Ethereum, but maybe I should also buy more T-shares on Ethereum. I'm not sure. Hey Vibra Finance, hey guys, sorry I've not been saying much, and I've kind of got led to this by accident. I was just trying to talk to Mars and join something, and now I'm live on stage. That was not really intended, but hello there. I hope I can add some value to the conversation, but I'm not sure how long I'm staying because everything was so unplanned. But yeah, you were talking about the staying in for the long run, and I think I am in it for the long run, and through the long run, Hex I think is still the best vehicle. Even post-X and post-chain, they're cool and they can do different kind of cool stuff, and I also buy them. But with Hex, it's more I can force myself to have the same coins in the future and to have more coins. So I think that narrative will sooner or later still work and work again.
What are you thinking about that, Vibra?
Me personally, I haven't staked. I made all my stakes last cycle. I did ladders all the way up. I have a couple of 5.555s that I'm already like almost 30% into, which is crazy to think about, or if not more. I think I got to look at the numbers, but it flies. But I made that big mistake last cycle of staking too much for too long. And I get it. In the long term, it's going to pay out great. In 10 years, we're going to look like geniuses. But in the short term, I probably could have used that money and been better off. But you know what? It's a learning lesson. So I really used staking as like a savings account and like a core to your portfolio. You know, I think that it's so important that if people in this bear market, if you had bought two things outside the Richard Heart ecosystem, whether something on Hedera, something on Stellar, you know, these other blue chips that are going to be around, it's so important where you can look at your apps or your phones and everything on Pulse Chain's down, but that one thing over there is pumping. And it mentally is so big when you can have one thing in your portfolio green. It saves you from just that toxicity on Twitter where everyone's negative and, oh, this is so bad. It's like, yeah, it is, but there's 1,000 other things going on. You're choosing to make this hell for yourself when you can just step outside and there's a ton of other things. But I don't know what, the community just got so crazy that I had to kind of step back because I don't want to get involved in fighting and this is better and you should do this. Like everybody, what I could do is perfect for me could be the worst thing for you. Like everybody's different.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways to win in this space that if you can't find that common ground and at least see, you know, the big picture here, man, I just feel bad for those people.
Dude, I feel you. I feel you're completely right about that one. I think this toxicity stuff is so annoying, and it's even in German, it's in English, it's in so many groups. I mean, this red said to Steven these days, red candles make people aggressive. Even Somi said the same thing afterwards. You know, it's just like people start crying. I mean, he has been saying that stuff for a while, but and then they get angry and they're looking like, yeah, it's because of this guy. This guy is a bad actor. These guys are bad actors, and they're just pushing it on, like looking for somebody to judge, to make responsible for their suffering. And that's an instinct of humans. We do it all the time in real life, but it doesn't get you anywhere. You know, it gets you absolutely nowhere. The only thing that gets you somewhere is like what you're saying. If you diversify, pulse chains going down, another asset that I have, or let's say hex or pulse chains going down, I have another asset that's skyrocketing right now. Bam, I swing trade that stuff. I ratio trade that stuff. And I get a shit ton more than if I would just have done it from fiat. And that's why I personally think diversification is really interesting. It doesn't mean that I'm against hex. Again, I think it's more like, what are you trying to do? A savings account is hex. But it's a long-term thing for me to make it really the APY, interest on interest, compounding interest. I get the whole thing. But I'm also saying, like, if you try to perhaps have some more investment value created by your own investment, not DCAing all the time, diversification and ratio trading, I'm not saying day trading, I'm talking about interesting moments and like target trading, not like let's do this every 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm agreeing with Vibra about that.
Yeah, and it's how can you, like when you said, right, I caught a meme coin, what anything, there's so many things that are pumping. If you made profits there, you take those into Pulse Chain and you buy the bottom of a blue chip asset that you know is going to pump. How can, like, you're not going to be mad about that. You're going to be happy. So your frame of mind is not going to be negative all the time. You can use this as an opportunity instead of it can't get, this is the worst thing ever. Other people are saying, keep the prices down low. I love this because I'm building up my bags, making money on meme coins or whatever you're doing, gaming, AI. There's so many things that are pumping. To just be focused on one little thing, I think is a mistake, but to each their own.
Oh, no, I think diversification is great. But like you guys said, that hex is for long-term thinking, and that part of my bag, I think, is for the long-term thinking is best in hex. But like, I also try, like, it would be stupid not to try to diversify with all those coins outperforming each other day by day. Like every day there's a new coin and it outperforms every other coin that has ever existed by I don't know how many X's. So yeah, diversification, really cool. But for the core and for the long-term thing and for the, I'm not here to get it done in 5 minutes, but I'm here to make it right. I think Hex still is a really good ride. And like for me, I still feel like this is the first bear market. I don't feel like I don't feel like it's over yet. But I mean, Bitcoin have hit new all-time highs, which I've told the woman from the bank when I got into crypto, it was the top of last bull market, and I told my bank woman to that how great Bitcoin is and stuff. And so a few weeks ago, Bitcoin hit the last all-time high, and she called, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting that you're calling." So Bitcoin did it. Now Ethereum is looking great. The ETF stuff is coming out, and it's all whipping like you said in the beginning. The Richard Hart tokens do pump last, and I think there's a reason for that. Like if you like, we've learned so much about how liquidity works with Atropa, and we've thought about it earlier when Richard told us how Hart's law works, and if you see the money from the banks flowing into Bitcoin and then like a whip flowing back to Ethereum, flowing back to the other altcoins, and then everything will go up. But it will take time, and during that time, like you guys said, building up bags. And part of my bag that I built today was more t-shirts, so let's go.
All good, brother. I wish you all the best. I wish that the rate's still gonna be like undervalued for a while, so you can build up your t-shirt bag cheaply. I feel it. I know it's a good time to invest. I'm not doubting that one. It was pretty far down already. I mean, if the bottom is another 50% drop or a hundo, it's a little scary for quite some people. But again, we all know it's for the long term. So why would you watch the chart like a maniac every day if you invested in Hex? And that's what I wanted just to say is, I feel like Hex is really good for people who are not trying to invest too much time into crypto too. You know, like just leave it there. You know, when your ladder's ending, you just take the stake out, you try to get it so it's more or less ending in a bull market and not in the middle of the bear. That's a recommendation for staking ladders, I feel you. And the rest is like you can chill. And with other stuff, you should be way more on top of it. So it's also like how much time are you trying to invest in the whole thing? and how updated you're trying to be, you know. That's why I feel like Hex is always going to have a good market, because it's something you can literally nearly forget about. You just put like an alarm in your clock, like in your cell phone, whatever, and you're like, all right, that's it. So it's chill. And the other stuff, you have to be on top of it. If not, you're FOMO buying all the time, you know?
Yeah, I'm so happy that I didn't buy the last top. That was of the meme coin, that like one of those coins. I didn't buy it. I thought, no, that's not good. And I didn't buy it, and it went down 90%. I'm so happy, guys.
Anyway, talking about this, about diversification and so on, I feel like something we will obviously want to bring up today too is something that's coming up in real life very soon, and that's the Pulse Chain Tour. First of all, obviously the Amsterdam thing, and I'm super excited to be there. That's my first conference that I'm taking part as a team member of KSB. And cool. Man, I'm fucking excited about meeting Maria, meeting quite some people around Maria, of the whole like research investigation team, most of them are Americans. And yeah, exciting stuff. It's really nice to be part of this tour. And obviously there's also Berlin at the 22nd of June. And we also got the event in Munich, which is on the 13th of July. And then afterwards, London on the 20th. The German event's obviously going to be mostly in German. There's RG3 talking in English too. And yeah, we are also open-minded if somebody's really interested in coming there and speaking there, and it's only obviously not a native German speaker. But generally, yeah, these two are in German and the other ones are all in English, like the Amsterdam one, the London one. And I know that RG3 is also doing a meetup in Lisbon. I think it's on the 10th, if I'm not wrong, of July. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, on the 13th. Sorry, that was a little mixed up. 13th of July is the meetup with RG3. And yeah, obviously everybody who's trying to meet these people, meet us in real life, talk about DeFi, talk about different diversified mindsets. We're obviously not anti-RH at all. We are mostly covering, obviously, the RH universe, but we are also open-minded. And I feel like that's something that's the discussion we just had. There has been also quite some maxi mentality in our group. And now we're pretty much all more like, yep, after doing investigation and a year of Pulse Chain, we know there is a whole universe out there. And there's more than just Pulse Chain too. Now, some people might freak out if I'm saying that, but Viber's not just talking only about Pulse Chain hidden gems. And I dig it why he's doing that. How are you going to connect communities if you're only in your own bubble? You know, how that's going to function. Like, you're just in Pulse Chain, we're just pushing around money between each other. But if you're on Herrera or you're on Sol and you're bringing money from there into Pulse Chain, what are you doing? You're pumping the back of everybody. So to be against that is like, what kind of mentality is that? Like, but yeah, Vibra, I would like to hear your thoughts about also diversifying into other blockchains.
Yeah, no, I've been onboarding people since 2020. I was in a Discord group, a paid group back then, and I was chilling, great projects, shit coins, game, you name it. And then I shilled Hex, and I got this pushback like nothing I've ever seen. So I was just like, okay, I need to look at this. Is awkward here. And the more I realized is certain people can't watch Richard Hart and listen to him. Their egos are just too big that they have to shut him off and be like, that guy's scared. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. So once I realized, I was like, okay, so it's not Hex. It's these people are actually, I don't know what it is about Richard, but they can't accept that he's smarter than them, that he's got something they want. It was crazy to see that in firsthand. So that kind of got, so I've always been figuring out ways. All right, how do you onboard people into Hex? You got to avoid the Richard Hart. You got to get creative with it. And I just started getting good at it where like I'd be out in public with, friends or family, just start talking to a random person. And 10 minutes later, I'm talking about crypto. And like and if I had walked up to that person and been like, hey, Hex is the greatest cryptocurrency ever, they'd be like, well, what the hell is wrong with you? So finding that common ground with people and then, hammering them with all the Richard Hart facts you want to hit them with, go ahead. But if you're not like I don't know, oh, that NFT community, oh, I saw that, or a sports team that you guys both like, whatever it is, you have to find common ground with people, or they will just tell you, okay, right. And they'll just ignore everything you're saying. I think that's a big problem. So I found that me going into other communities and realizing, oh my God, this is the same people, the same type thing that's in the Hex and Pulse chain community. It's just not as big. Everybody's just as passionate and very good people. So we're all the same. We just follow different sports teams. Like if I like soccer and you like basketball, am I going to be like, oh, you like soccer? You're so stupid. You like soccer. It's like, what? And that's where I think people need to look at it more like that, as these cryptos are like sports teams or whatever, as we're all in this together. And I think when people start to see that, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be green candles that stop people from this horrible mentality, because they either stake too long and they're broke, so they can't buy more, or they can't do what they're being told, or there's just there's always something. But green candles fixes it all, and I just really hope that, I know that this ETF approval ETH pumping now should be. I mean, I can't see within another month or two that we're not well above SAC rate. I mean, what's going on with PDI, with what's going on behind the scenes with Atropa, with all the builders, with Sunny's ecosystem, I mean, PTGC and Alien. There's so many different sub communities forming now with, coaches. And it's like, if you're in here bitching about stupid shit about Hex and you're not in one of Hodonomics groups or Sunny or Pulse Trends listening on Twitter, it's like, what are you doing? So I've been blocking so many people lately, and just like, I don't care. Like, I don't need to hear this stuff. It's so low IQ. I don't even want that shit coming up on my feed. And it comes to a point where you either are stuck in this little echo chamber and you're waiting for other people to control your life and control your bags, or you step outside and you figure out ways to, win, I guess.
Ticker guy, you want to say something to that, to the topic about
Just speaking from my heart. There is so much toxicity going on that it's like, it's so stupid. And like, I've also been blocking so many people and unfollowing stuff, and like, in the end, it's all about onboarding more people into crypto. But sometimes everybody has to do it in their way, and that's cool.
Right. And if you're not in crypto right now, there's nothing here that's going to really excite you, except either huge gains or something new coming out. So I think, some kind of new wallet, something with the metaverse, with those stupid goggle things, something's going to come out in the next 6 months that's going to get everybody back in. We're going to be talking about the super cycle now. And I think this next bear market is going to be I think it'll actually be worse, because right now this just doesn't feel right, crypto, that all this money is just chasing all these memes and garbage, and all the stuff that has utility, that matters, that's going to change the world, is looked at as like garbage, or no one wants to touch it. So until all the nonsense is weeded out, I think that's going to take regulation this cycle. And I don't know. I just feel like it's going to end really badly for a lot of these meme coins. And of course, there's going to be meme coins that are very important for chains. You need a meme coin to get people there, but are they really going to be around? Is Dogecoin and Pepe, are they going to be here in 15 years? When I know Ethereum's going to be here in 15 years, it's tough for me to.
Dude, if Dogecoin's around because of Elon, Dogecoin can be around because of Elon. It's just Elon pumps it with his bag. It's like, it's going to be there forever, dude. I mean, like, he can definitely market buy Dogecoin and pump it to whatever he wants to, kind of. So yeah, I agree. I think that one's not going. I don't know about Pepe. I'm agreeing this meme coins. If you know anything about the laws of meme coins and how quick that shit goes by, it's often really a pump and dump. And you don't want to be on the side when it's already dumping. And it's just, playing with fire, depending on the meme coin again. Because I feel like we all know that there's one meme coin, at least for me, on on Pulse Chain that I dig because it's built into an ecosystem that I dig, not because it's just a regular meme coin. I'm not a meme coin guy, not a meme coin chiller neither, because I feel like it's agree with you, dude. It's like it's playing with fire. It's really playing with high rewards, fucking high risk. That means if you're not a early bird, you're mostly gonna lose. Most people lose in meme coins, you know, not win. Like it's like a myth. So you're obviously really lucky to make it in a meme coin. But having said that, people that make millions with this stuff, so I'm also not like, hey, it's fun meme coins because they're not gonna be gone soon. What is meming in the internet? It's one of the biggest things in the whole world. So why would not meme coins be a big thing? You know what I'm saying? Like who's not meming stuff? And like that means also that's not probably gonna like go away just from today to tomorrow, but it doesn't mean that one meme coin is just gonna stay there for forever and just keep on going to the right exponentially. Not very realistic.
Yeah, it's just degenerate gambling. I mean, let's be honest. That's all it is. I'm fortunate to work with some very wealthy people. And when I talk to them or they want to know what to buy, never once have they been like, all right, what's the best meme coin I can get into? They don't care. They're thinking long term. What can I buy cheap that will be worth more in the future that I don't have to worry about? And so the more I see that and you're around guys that think like that, you just look at that where people are desperate that are messing around with that. And yeah, I'm sure, I actually know, I don't know how it's any skill. I mean, to be honest with you, you got to know people on the inside. You got to pay someone to shill it. Like it's so hard to just organically, oh, I found this. Like I was screwing around on a couple of the side chains on Base and Degen and Stacks, and I bought like 4 whitelist honeypots. So I'm getting scammed because I bought a coin and I didn't look at the buy and sells to make sure that people were selling it.
And
like little things like that.
Yeah.
And then they just rug the liquidity within 12 hours and it's gone and it's on to the next. So it's just this never revolving like rug pulls. And it's not new money coming in. It's just money sloshing around. So I just try to, it's fun if you want to throw a little money in, whatever. Yeah. Who doesn't love a coin that's pumping? But I don't know. It's not my thing really.
What do you think about burned liquidity?
I think now it's a huge draw. I mean, I'm starting to see it now on other chains where it was never happening on Solana or Base. And now you're seeing other coins follow stuff that was born on Pulse Chain. It's like Richard Hart, when we had DeFi Summer last in 2020, Hex and Richard were primarily responsible for creating that. Just right now, what's happening with Pulse Chain, the DeFi over there, I think DeFi 2.0 is happening right now, but people are too busy fighting and are too stupid to see what's going on right in front of their faces. And it's just fascinating when I'm listening to some of the Pulse Trends Twitter spaces with these guys that are way smarter than me. So I just sit there and I try to listen to everything while these guys are like analyzing the blockchain, trying to figure out what's going on in these privacy layer on Pulse Chain. It's like, holy shit, there's so much going on here that I don't even comprehend. So that's what excites me. And I see where we're going, but the burnt liquidity thing, I hate to say it, but I feel like just staking Hex and not being able to touch it for 15 years is actually a bad thing. It's going to become a thing of the past real quick because with now liquid staking everywhere, like on Hedera, you have a coin that's 10 or 12% staking. You go and you stake it once and now it's in your wallet forever. You can just go swap it out whenever you need to. You don't ever have to unstake it. It never leaves your wallet. And that's where the future is. So I think with like the reflections coins that we're seeing with Alien and PTGC burning the liquidity, the DAOs, that's the stuff that I hope really takes off and we get the credit for it.
Yeah, I think burn. Oh, sorry, there's somebody cooking. I hope you guys don't hear the noise. I think the reason what I like about Hex is that I do not have the ability to sell it. I'm not 100% be familiar of everything you just said. So if I make any mistake, please correct me. But with most of coins that I can stake and then earn rewards, I can I can wreck myself. And with Hex, I stake the coins, and I don't care what happens. I know it has bad sides because, like you said, reflection coins and stuff. Like Hex is immutable, so it won't. But with the other stuff, it's not as consistent, I think.
Yeah, I feel you. Let's talk about the comment we're just seeing here. In every stock market cycle, there are shit small cap companies shilled to the public. Meme is just the equivalent. I mean, Sol cannot be used for DeFi if there is no chain constant uptime. So memes it is. Yeah, I feel you. Also, Solana has had technical issues more than one time. It's a little embarrassing for being such a big blockchain or such a big thing right now. And I'm agreeing to that meme is just a hot new thing. I also think now let's go back to the more like, let's say, practical topics. What Adam has been doing, in my point of view, is mostly utility things, like nearly 100% utility things. Like I've been watching it, what you have been like doing, for example, storage now. You've been talking about that on other chains, like data storage on the blockchain, which is going to be a big thing in your opinion. I thought that narrative, it makes absolutely sense. Cloud storing, no, like doing that on blockchain.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's it's narratives too. You know, memes obviously are great to make money when things are pumping, but I don't spend my time in those spaces. I don't know who the founders are. I don't know, you know, who's behind stuff. And unless you're in those inner circles where I feel like on Pulse Chain, I have the relationships with people. I know, oh, that's that person. Oh, okay. You know, I just feel more comfortable doing that. And you know, Solana, I love Solana. I was telling everybody to buy Solana that was watching me in 2022 when it was like $11. I was screaming, don't listen to people calling it Solana. This is going to get pumped because of the FTX. They're going to have to pump it to get their money back. And sure enough, look what happened. And, you know, it is what it is. People either they can see it and they can diversify, or, you know, you can have a hard time. You know, obviously everything's going to pump, but I'd rather have something in my portfolio that I could say, all right, I at least made money on that. And it can focus your attention away from you doing something stupid like Sticker Guy was saying. You know, and that is a great thing about Hex, where you can stake it and save yourself from yourself. That is a problem with Hedera, with staking like that, is there is no lock on that. So you can't do that where you want to lock it up for 4 years and 5 months. That's not an option. So that does make Hex very unique in its way. And that's a reason I do love Hex. And everybody I work with, I make sure that they have a Hex stake for the young kid, or for somebody. There's someone in your life that a 15-year stake for $500 right now, could it change their life if we do what this stuff thinks it's going to do? And people that understand that, they get it, and they're going to do very, very well. It's just, I feel like you need a couple cycles in crypto. You know, very few people hit that 1,000, you know, put $1,000 in and walk away with $1 million in their bank account for a cycle. That's the fairy tale dream story. It's so hard for you to even hold. When you get into these coins early, it's so hard to hold. You know, who knew what PTGC and Alien and these coins were going to do? Who knew HOA? Who knew, you know, nobody knew these things 6-8 months ago. So when you're in them early, 99% of people sell their entire bags too early. And I think people are going to do that with Hex and Pulse Chain this cycle. They're finally going to get these pumps, and they're going to be like, okay. And they're going to be listening to guys that are saying, oh, Hex can only 15x, because if Richard puts this many millions in, it can only 15x. And they're not even thinking what a market buy can do. So they have all these people all fudded out of these bags thinking we can only do a 20x, because if you put this much in 15 million in liquidity, can only do this. And Richard added 1.2 million and the price went up 8%. So it's going to do a 4x. And people believe this shit. And so I just fear, and I hope people don't get shaken out on the first pump and think this is it. Because I think we're going to have a huge blow off top. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know we're going to see crazy things this cycle, whether it's a double top or we just keep going for an ungodly amount. I think we're going to 10, 12 trillion, and people are going to sell their bags way too early. Even if the cycle happens fast and we're in a bear market in March next year, April next year, I don't know. I think it's just too many bullish things are lining up for us not to explode.
Yeah, man, it's so exciting.
Oh, please go ahead, Sticker Guy. Please.
Oh, I was just also excited. Yeah, man, I think a part of the bull market should already be like Bitcoin went up and Ethereum is going up now, so it is going as planned, and even they said it from the beginning is 4 year cycle, and we're now what, on year 3, I think. So I could not be more excited. All the stuff you're talking about is so interesting, and like all those things combined together will lead to like a very cool next few months or next year, I think. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I can wait. That's why I bought more t-shirts. But yeah, I think there's the blow up top theory that you just said. I think that could definitely be happening. Especially with all the whole ecosystem. Like Pulsechain wants to break out, Solana. No, not Solana, but other chains do have problem. Like Solana has like weird stuff with their inflation going on, and like there's many facets to it. But in the end, I think it will be a lot of fun.
Another thing I wanted to bring up, talking about narratives, is something that's been now like also heavily like talked about, and for a while actually, if you've been listening to Richard Hart's streams, is parity between PRC20s and ERC20s. And I remember that you were a person that was talking, for example, potential about a couple of utility coins there, not just like some random meme coin, like let's say Fork Pepe, but like other forks that might be interesting. We also today talked about in the Telegram chat a little bit, in the German one. I'm really interested in catch your brain on that. If you're down to show us some too with a chart, would be really interesting to have something visual to go with the token. But yeah, I feel like that's a topic that could be interesting, no?
Yeah, I that's what I was trying to do. When Pulse Chain first came out, it was like, okay, if I was Richard, what would I do to get everybody's attention outside the community? What are strategies he could use? And I came to the conclusion that pumping, if you could just take Pepe and pump that coin for a week or 2 weeks, and then pump the hell out of P Link, and then pump the hell out of, Quant or Render or Fetch, whatever the coin is, the stuff that's moving on ETH, pump at the same time on Pulse Chain, and it just doesn't take that much money. And that's the stuff I think gets people to come. And once there's got to be like a number where if you have 20% or 30% of that bag, you're going to go over there and go extract that value. If it's 1%, you're probably not going to care. But so I think Richard probably has figured that out. What if once I do this and people have value, they will come over here, and then everything here is better. We have so much going on. And so, yeah, I early was trying to just think, okay, blue chips, what are the biggest communities on Ethereum? And I just started buying up those PRC20s early, last summer when they were pretty much worth nothing. And I've just held them ever since. And some of them are starting to really move. Like the last couple of weeks, I Fetch AI it went up to almost 10 cents. And I remember it had like 2 or 3 zeros when I first started buying it way early. And that's it. That's the thing. You have to be able to hold. And that's what most people can't do. They see something, they're like, oh, the liquidity is horrible, I'm going to eat so much slippage. Well, yeah, that's because that's the time to buy. And it's really hard to get used to that. And so I just went through with like Anchor and all the DeFi protocols, Chainlink, Maker, Aave, Quant. And I just went and started buying them up and thought, okay, worst case scenario, I lose a couple million Pulse Chain. And best case scenario, these things can pump hard. And I'm not a forensic blockchain researcher like some of these guys are. So, Hodlnomics and 9 Iron Capital and Pulse Trends, these guys are so smart. And once they start analyzing the blockchain, they can kind of start seeing moves Richard's made and start thinking, okay, where is this going? What's he doing with this? And when I don't know what happened, but they're now the same amount of coins on the east side is the Pulse Chain side. And there used to be like 100x more on Pulse Chain. So I don't know what happened. I haven't followed up on that. I heard Sonny talking about it, and I noticed that too. I was like, is the Explorer wrong or something right now? And what the hell happened to all the coins that were here? And sure enough, like, I don't know if Richard, I don't know what he did. He's the GOAT. I'm not even going to doubt him, but I think there's just so much opportunity across any community that is existing on Ethereum. If you can give them value on Pulse Chain, they will come over. So I just think Richard's too smart to not do that. So, you know, that was one of the strategies we had last summer, was to buy up them and just hold them.
And still hold them for a while, obviously, because it's depending on the token, I imagine, because I mean, there's some tokens that came to parity. That's a different story. But if you're away like 100x or 200 or 1000x away from the ETH price, it's obviously an interesting gamble to do. I mean, I also would not put my whole portfolio into this, you know. Again, that's obviously a gamble too. But yeah, Richard has been talking about this stuff heavily and about liquidity farming, or liquidity pools, rather to say, between the ERC20s and their PRC20 copies, and making heavily fees on that, like getting money as a liquidity provider cross-chain asset. And I feel like that's something that we're also talking about with PDAI and EDAI and XDAI and all the DAIs that are there, that this is going to be a very interesting liquidity passive income stream if you own a shit ton of PDAI and potentially EDAI or just regular DAI, so they call it. And just make money on the stable coins in the bear market, because that's honestly a part of my own strategy. Is like, yeah, I'm trying to get into stable coins at a certain stage. I'm not an idealist about the stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to sell my whole bag, but dude, like, I'm not trying to dump on people neither. I'm not doing this at a one time and take everything out and just dump the price and be an asshole about it. But at the same time, we're all here to make money. And to be idealistic about this stuff is a little sad, because other people don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, the big money is not going to think about you as a little investor. Oh, how can we do this the best way so the prices don't drop too hard? No, not at all. They want to scare you out to buy your bag cheap again. That's the whole game, exactly. You know? So you have to be realistic about that shit. And personally, I think passive income streams are anyway the best thing you can have, in my opinion, at a certain stage, if you made it high enough with a portfolio.
100%. And that's like on Hedera. That's why I'm so impressed with it, because I know this cycle, I'm going to take profits and I'm going to put them into stable coins. And they have a USDC pair over there that pays up to 19 or 20% if you hold the NFTs on Saucer Swap, which I was in the pre-sale for those. I was in day one. So I'm fortunate enough to have a set of them. So I get the extra rewards where you get almost double or triple the APY as someone that's not having them. So little things. That's why, like I say, it takes a couple cycles to build wealth. You know, if you have, like, do it right, you know, yeah, it's so hard to just come in crypto, buy the right coins, ride them up 100x, sell, and then rebuy them in the bear. Like, you need to be around somebody that knows what they're doing. You know, typically, you know, most people get wrecked their first cycle, then they learn, they come back. So, you know, just trying to position yourself and find these opportunities out there where, you know, right now on Pulse Chain, like, I'm in the only pool I'm in is the Pulse and Pulse X farm over there. And I've been trying, the farms. And I've been creating liquidity pools with a bunch of different tokens, trying to learn. I've been watching, you know, with Steven, talking to him, and Chaos Chris, one of the smartest guys out there. And he's been trying to tell me, like, dude, the verse. Chris is such a smart guy. And I wish more people listen to him, because he's been on point with everything he says. I mean, it's like he can literally see the future. And I don't know why. First of all, I thought when you're the first one that creates a pool, you get a portion of all the fees for everyone coming in behind you, which was completely wrong. So I don't know why the hell I thought that. And then I was trying to create, so I was making all these new pairs with coins that had no volume. So I was just getting chopped up. Every single pair, I was looking at them like, okay, why am I losing on all these? And it was because of the lack of volume. And you really gotta, it's a learning lesson though. And I was doing it with small amounts. It wasn't like I was throwing thousands of dollars in here. I was throwing $50, throwing $100 into a pair and just watching them for a couple months. And now I closed almost all of them down except for Anchor. I have a bunch of them because I bought a huge supply of it early. So I figured, whatever, I'm going to just create a bunch of LPs. That's the coin I'm going to use. But if you don't have a bunch of it in Pulse, Pulse X, or other coins that have volume, your pools are not going to do well at all. So it's just been a good learning experience. And that's where, the bear market is a great time to do this stuff and learn and make the mistakes when the prices are at zero. You don't want to be doing this stuff when things start pumping. That's when you start providing liquidity. When one side pumps, it starts getting bad. So, it's tough liquidity providing, and you got to learn. And I think just get wrecked with everything else. It's so hard to do. I don't think there's a formula for it, but that Pulse and Pulse X farm is, I think, the safest thing you can be in if you're going to do that.
The safe bet
Yeah.
in comparison to V2 liquidity. It's a safer bet. And yeah, I'm agreeing. It's like with trading. If you never traded, you forget it to make like a perfect 1,000x trade the first time you buy a coin and try to sell a coin. I mean, it's like the same thing with liquidity providing. Personally, I feel like one really important thing that people aren't thinking about it is like, how do you consider the coins to perform that you're binding, that you're offering your liquidity on? So to say, if one completely outperforms the other, do you want to really just sell like this, so to say, your coins? You don't want to wait until it's high and then sell it. You just want to sell it all the time until it's gone. Might be a strategy. It's not mine. And I feel like it's more interesting if you are in pools where both assets potentially really outperform pools, Like, for example, I personally talk these days, and we're talking about in the group too, about Ink and No News. Why? Because it's kind of like one of the most important connections that there are between Richard hard assets and the Tropa liquidity layers. And yeah, it's not a big pool right now. And I'm saying do this right now without ever having done a pool. But plays like this can be interesting because both can hardcore pump, And you don't have to worry as much because if both pump really heavily until in a year, you have more of both. And that's like the idea. Exactly. They're not pumping exactly at the same time, but it's like, and you have a higher level. That's kind of the ideal for me of liquidity providing. That doesn't always happen, obviously. And yeah, it's tricky. And you have to do your research on the coin before you do it, because you might not wreck yourself. People exaggerate it too with this whole impermanent loss theory. But you lose potential gains. That's the only way you could say that too. If you just hold it and market, sell it, in comparison to having in a liquidity pool. So yeah, I feel like that's the danger.
Yeah. And it was, almost 85. I did 30 pools with $100 in each one. And 85% of them were down money after 3 months. And though that was because the volume wasn't there. And that the volume and the fees overcome the getting chopped up there. So that it was a great learning experience. But every one of those pools I did, I made sure on the other side of the pair, it was a coin that I wanted to hold. So if it got out of whack, even though the dollar value was down, I ended up with obviously more on one side, but that's okay for the long term. So I'll recoup that loss, over the next 3, 5. I'm not just going to sell them at the bottom here. So it was a good learning experience to basically put everything in the Pulse chain and just don't even mess around with these other pools trying to create new ones. And unless you're Sonny and you're a pro at this stuff, just don't bother.
Yeah, Sonny's a pro at that stuff. I mean, I'll be honest. He's like, he sees opportunities where most people don't even see them, and it's like building this huge nets of liquidity bonded asset tokens together. Yeah, props out to him. Yeah, he's pretty damn good in that stuff, and also props to Hodlonomics for what he's trying to do on Solana with Dumble and so on. I feel like that's an effort that's positive if that kind of works out as a cross-chain liquidity between Pulse Chain and Solana. And I like the idea of like bringing that tech onto other chains, making people see that it works, refer to where it's coming from a troper, you know, and yeah, like just getting some hopefully adoption going too, because like we said earlier, we're just in a bubble right now, in a pretty hateful bubble, and it's time to burst it and fuck gatekeeping and maximalism. I'm sorry if I say it that hard, but it's really not the time to have this mindset anymore. If we try to get people here and they only reading like hatred and like people going at each other, who the fuck wants to invest in assets like this? You know? Especially bigger people like you were mentioning that. They want to see is obviously opportunity, but they're not going to buy blood mostly. You know what I'm saying? They want some validation that the chart's going up again, most of them. They're not going to buy the bottom probably because they're like, this can go down another 50%. Like, why would I buy right now? They're buying validation, verified. You know, the chart, the TA tells you, all right, we're over the bottom now. And now we can shill it to our bigger clients. I think even on tech, Ivan, he's going to be at a certain stage probably talking about Hex and about Pulse Chain positively, you know? But with the price performance, he can't do that shit to that many followers. If that stuff goes on, they're just going to hate him for it. So, like, bigger voices come with green candles.
And then the people are going to say, oh, see how fake these guys are. They were here the whole time and they wouldn't say anything. Don't even. It's like, God, they can't even see that. They have what exactly you said. They're going to wreck their followers by mentioning it 4 months ago. It just rolled over twice. You can't do that to people. And there goes your credibility, and they're not going to risk it. They're going to choose their followers over a coin. Like they found their way. They have their clicks and their views. Why screw it up?
Here we go. And I mean, even if they like Richard personally a lot, they're not going to try to get their whole reputation that they've built up and their monetized YouTube channel and Twitter fucked up because of one coin or token. I'm agreeing, Adam, 100%. Coming back to tokens, do you have any right now PRC20s that you still think are undervalued or potentially a good play still, a good game? I mean, some of them already shoot off, and it's often a bad idea to buy FOMO, but what do you think has still potential there?
I really think Sonny's ecosystem with A1A and Meth and Inc R, Pulse Christmas, XLP, the dot, you can pretty much hard, if there's a coin that you really like, he's got a reflection coin that pays it back. And you know, I've been in them for a long time, and some of the pools are paying a decent amount. I mean, I'll talk like they're at like $75 or $80, and in the reflections, like that's a lot for the amount that I put into these coins. And I think those are undervalued right now because they're deflated. Like if you understand how his whole ecosystem works, I mean, the liquidity just gets burnt and just gets trapped in those pairs. And he's just got these webs built around A1A and B2B, and it's just genius. So if, you know, I don't know what PRC20 is going to pump the hardest. If Richard's going to pump Aave next week, or is he going to pump games? Is he going to pump what? I don't know. But A1A, with him pairing up 150 PRC20s to A1A, it's almost a way to get exposure to all of them through his ecos, through A1A. So like I'm a huge fan of that. I don't think people are talking about that enough. You know, the PDI and USDC and USDT. I mean, if we think they can go to 75 cents ish to $1, I mean, we're at what, a half a cent right now. I don't know how many X's that is, but you know, that's
200.
If I'm looking at Bitcoin and ETH and then that, it's like, okay. And then, you know, Die Hard, that's paying you back PDI every day. You know, even though right now it's a half cent, imagine if it was worth 10 cents, how much you'd be earning in yield. So that's how I try to think. So I position myself in a lot of those reflection coins and PTGC and Alien, because they're now proven. PTGC, I think, just burnt 10% of the supply now.
Yeah,
so that's never going to stop
right now too. I feel like that's a little undervalued again, or at least like coming to my trend line where I thought it might go down again to the magnet. So I'm personally also think it's a good, again, no financial advice here, guys. And I'm not saying PTGC is going to be the most lucrative asset on Pulse Chain, but it's like a hex clone combined with a troper, because you got the staking part, locked staking 2 and liquid staking, and you have the whole like a troper ARP bot system with like a shit ton of liquidity bondings also to a troper itself. So yeah, I dig what they've done at PTGC. Props to Coach X. I also know he was one of the early investigators that we should mention, the whole 9 Iron Capital Hodlonomics gang. And yeah, also with Pulse Trends, I'm honest, like these spaces are genius. They're not understandable for too many people, I guess, especially with Pulse Trends talking. But for me, that I'm really deep into this, it's like, yeah, I know what he's talking. And it's like, damn, dude, I don't have the time to spend that he has on that. And I appreciate the effort, you know, because I don't like to speculate randomly on tokens. I like evidence. I like information based on facts. You know, like analyzing a token, look at the holder structure, look at the sales and buys, look at the volume, like over time, not just like ape into random shit because somebody has it on their timeline. I feel like that's always recommended, no matter if it's a utility coin or token or the meme token or coin or whatever. But yeah, PTGC, I feel like is a benevolent actor until right now, from what I have been seeing. And I'm always down to talk about people that are good builders on the ecosystem.
Exactly. When you have like the contracts renounced, you know, even Alien too, I think is gonna do a little bit better than PTGC just because it's a smaller market cap, and it's basically, I think it's just a little bit more effective. I mean, something comes out and then you see it and you can learn from it and you can kind of tweak it a little bit. And that's not a bad thing to, you know, PTGC is amazing. And I'm never going to sell a portion of that bag. I'm going to be earning those rewards until, I don't know, who know, forever, until my 5555s are coming out. So that's the mentality you got to have with some of these things. I mean, people don't, they don't understand that PTGC is never going anywhere. It's never going to stop buying and burning Pulse Chain. So as long as Pulse Chain's around and starts moving, PTGC is probably going to do better and outperform it. So, you know, you just, I don't know, and just earning more just for holding it every day. You know, so I just think PTGC is a good one to look at. I think Alien is is undervalued right now. I don't know if PTGC is undervalued at like whatever $5 million market cap or whatever. I think Alien is. And then Sunny's ecosystem, I think, is very undervalued. And then, you know, even like coins like Quant and Aave, you know, their Aave's like 60 cents. And on Ethereum, it's like what, $1.20 or something like that. And Quant's $100 and it's like 94 cents. And I saw yesterday, you know, Quant was one of the ones I was talking about earlier. I'm a huge fan on Quant just in general. So if that can go to $1,000 on ETH, and it was 50 cents. Now someone bought a bunch yesterday and pumped it to $1 just like that. So I see that. I'm like, man, these things, people have no idea how hard these things can move, especially when Quant goes to $5 or $10 on Pulse Chain. Everyone needs to say, oh God, I'm gonna go over there and check it out now. Because if it's worth, you know, they have 100 of them on ETH, you know, they got $10,000 or whatever, you're not going to go over for $100. You will go over for 1,000 though. So I just think those, if you could find PRC20s, like I said earlier, that have a community and that have a fraction of the price on Pulse Chain that has liquidity, to me, I'd rather bet on that than some meme coin.
Yeah, you feel like it's a safer bet than putting it into a meme coin? Just knowing that it is a narrative behind it.
Yeah, I don't do the research on meme coins. You know, I don't know. I'm sure there's guys that are the one, you know, whoever the Pepe founder, and I know he released a couple of coins, and there's Ryoshi, and there's all these guys, but I don't know who they are. I don't know their product. I'm not in that ecosystem. So for me to try to go be like a noob and spend all that time, I feel like I'm in a position I don't need to do that. I don't have to chase all these gains. I'm fortunate enough to I'm where I'm at. I'm gonna let the gains come to me. And I did what I could in the bear market to build my bags. And whatever comes, you just got to accept it. Like to try to chase it and I need these X's, I got to do that. That's when you just start getting wrecked, and it never works out for that mentality.
Feel you. I agree. Generally, I mean, pretty much everybody agrees that there's a couple of narratives that might be big this cycle. There's obviously AI that already kind of happened, gaming, and storage eventually too, just because it's obviously a lot safer than most cloud services to do that on blockchain. About a PRC20 that I am just the last couple of weeks, or not even know, I think like 10 days or something, I got like a little research about is Gnosis on Postchain, and why. I think it was Decentralized Me or Posttrends who started to talk about it and the connection to DAI that they're using there too. And I was like, and the privacy protocol, and just knowing how often Richard has talked about privacy, and there's just some blockchain evidence coming out that there is like a collaboration between Gnosis and Maker. So I'm like, that sounds interesting. That's the kind of shit I'm interested in, because I'm not trying to throw a dart at 100 PRC20s and just be like, let's put $100 in each of them.
Yeah,
you can if you have the cash, no? But it's 10 grand right there just to throw. I'm more like, all right, I should base this on some like investigation. And I know these people and they're really benevolent. So I'm also like, I'm not always fact checking everything myself that they're claiming. I have to be honest, I mean, you know how much time you can spend on researching every day if you try to be updated. Look at Somi. He's talking about 18 hours a day. Fuck that, dude. I mean, not talking about Somi. I'm talking 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
I like the jungle behind me. I like to go and swim in a crystal clear river. Yeah. That's my life. And I like blockchain, but like, yeah, just saying, like, it's good
once you're doing 18 hours a day, you're trying to force content and stuff, you just end up, you're just wrong on a lot of shit. You overlook stuff. And it's just, when he said that Richard bought the top and was killing him for it, I was just like, he has no clue that was a play for him to get as much SDI as possible. So he's out here saying, Richard bought, what an idiot. Richard bought the top of ETH. Oh, what a dummy. It's like, no, dude, that's a calculated plan. Like, look into it. But you're out here trying to make 80 videos, and which is fine, but like, stick to the comedy, stick to the funny stuff. Like, don't try to be like all about the alpha and just be completely missing stuff. But whatever. We need eyeballs, and he's great at that. But yeah. And then if anyone that used Staker app back in the day, if you made a stake on that, you got the Gnosis Safe airdrop on, which is the safe coin. And I got a bunch of them, and it was down to like $1.50. And I just been watching it. It's just been slowly every day on the bubbles. It's like up 4%, up 5%. Everything else is down. Gnosis Safe up 4 or 5%. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Is there some Richard Hart ties to Gnosis Safe? Is this his wallet maybe, or is he connected to this? It's the safest thing out there, but I don't know. I'm with you. The Gnosis connection, the Maker stuff like that. Gnosis is a good one potentially. Maker, I think probably a little too late now, but it'll still probably do really well.
I'm agreeing. It's like I knew very well, but it's also like, damn, I knew about this stuff for months, and I was a little slow about this stuff. I was also like, it's already so much Atropa tokens coming out, and I was trying to be updated with all that stuff. And just to be updated with all that stuff is like, pretty time consuming. So I feel like you can't be at every play at the same time, but it's straight up why we're talking to. I feel it's really great if you have different people doing different research, sharing the research, talking about different stuff from different angles, and just giving the technicals about it too. Because I'm not a shiller. I'm not a person who's like, hey, let's buy this and ape into this. If I'm talking about a token in our group, it's always like, do your own TA. Look for your own entries. Don't just go and buy this stuff at any moment. Like this, you can get wrecked, even especially if you're, again, not long like on the long play, but more like into deck. I want to make in a week more PLS and invest it, and I don't know what. You can get wrecked pretty quickly. So I'm normally more like have my targets and I buy at my targets. I'm not buying randomly FOMOs. I'm like this. These are my targets based on TA. They're not touching it. I don't touch it. And that's it. I feel like sometimes you just have to be consequent with yourself, you know, consistent. Like the shiny thing is attracting all of us. It's more like how often you want to burn yourself, you know?
Yeah, and it's what's so important too. Why your network is your net worth, because when you can have people that you really trust, I have people that will text me and say, "Hey, buy this right now," and I've bought 5 or 6 coins because somebody I really trust is like, "Hey, look at this." So I'll just okay, whatever, buy $100 of it and just throw it away. And I did that with Gifford 2 or 3 months ago. Bought $100 worth, and that thing did a lot of
Nice.
X's. So when I didn't know why, I didn't even ask questions. I was like, okay, done. And so once you have people that you can trust like that, it makes crypto a lot easier when it cuts out so much of the scrambling around, because the people that you can trust, they have relationships and, just being good to people, trying to help them out. Karma, it all comes back. I feel like when you are there and you're not trying to scam anybody, you're not trying to get anything over, get one over on people, good things tend to happen. Like no one's going to come after you, or like I don't get any trolls on my streams. I'm super lucky for that. And no one's coming in here spamming it or whatever. And I guarantee if I had, rugged people or scam people will be coming in here all the time because they don't forget that stuff. And I don't want to have to deal with that or ever, it's I feel like that'd be terrible. So just being
Dude, I feel
honest,
you.
I think, good karma comes back to you. So there's enough for everyone to eat in this space where, you see people that are just like ruthlessly will just market dump and just nuke charts. It's like, I'm in a lot of private groups where it's like, oh, this, that. And then boom, someone inside that group, damn well it was someone in that group that nuked the chart, but everyone didn't do it. And it's like, okay, well, really, guys. And I try to just get away from that and level up and get around people that are there to help you and teach you, not take from you.
Oh, man, it's a good mindset. I mean, like, I feel like you don't have to believe in karma. You don't have to, but it's more like, yeah, like you said, even if it's not spiritual, and I believe in that part, to be honest, because I feel like you fuck over people, it's going to come back to you at a certain stage. Like, and in a different manner doesn't mean it's the same way. And if it's about markets and stuff, like, I would feel horrible if I would chill any talk to anybody. I would morally feel really bad knowing that a person that has a family or not that invested their money in this and now they're fucked because I want to make money off him and use the person as an extra liquidity. Fuck that shit. Like, no, I'm not personally going to onboard anybody at a certain stage in this bull anymore. Be like completely no. If they ask me, it's not a good moment, dude. It's not. Like if it has a retrace till there, it might be. But even then, I don't know if the cycle's gonna work this time. I know there is like La Roca Negra, how somebody calls it in the game. There's players in the game that haven't been here before. So let's not be ingenuine and naive about these whole things. Let's be prepared for different scenarios. Don't take it to the 100 scenarios of Somi. Sorry, dude, but dude, you have been literally fudding P-Dive heavily, including me. You fudded me out, kind of. And I'm not bludging you. Everybody has their own choice, no? But like just say, and then afterwards you're shilling it. You did not do the research before on blockchain. I know that. And you fudded it. Yep. And then afterwards you're like shilling it like this never happened. And I'm not okay with that because I'll be honest with you.
No.
You judge something without any investigation. And that's something you should if you are an influencer in this space. And I'm really not a big voice in this space. I'm just like knowing these KSB guys for a while and I really dig what they're doing.
Well, was like that the same guy? Was that the same guy who said earlier that he is pushing 18 hours a day into research? That's kind of odd.
Yeah, he's there 18 hours a day making content for clicks and views, but he doesn't do research because you can't do research and make that much content. It's just not physically possible. So it's one or the other. So,
we can definitely see which one it is.
Yeah, I'm not saying everything he's doing is shit, I mean, he talked about HOA relatively early. Some people made access on that. Don't have to judge. Not everything he's doing is shit. He's also a member for the eHex crew, and I'm not against that one either. So I'm like, all right, in some parts. but he just makes like every scenario possible, kind of. And it's like, I was right about it. It's like, if I do that, I'm always going to be right about it. But I've been wrong about under 90% of the scenarios I've been telling you, you know? And it's kind of like throwing the darts in every direction. Be like, be prepared for every scenario. But you have to take a choice, you know? You buy a coin or you sell a coin. As easy as it is, you know? You can't do the same thing at the same time. If not, you just end up in a zero. So they say, like, you have to take a decision when to sell and when to buy. And again, not judging here, but I'm agreeing on that one. I would not be like, I'm like saying he's the best researcher on chain. I think he's a funny dude, fucking funny dude.
Yeah.
I had to laugh about his memes. You know, he's somebody who can make jokes, and it's not like that serious. And a lot of people on this, like on the post chain, are just like little too technical and boring sometimes. And I feel like that's something he has. He got the fucking jokes coming, you know.
It's funny. He's funny as shit, and he needs to stick to that stuff because I don't know if he even knows it. Like, I can show you messages of people I work with or on Twitter that have said, yeah, Sami calling it Solana fudded me out. I'm so mad right now because I could be up 15x if I had just listened to you, and I could have so much more Pulse Chain and Hex right now, but I didn't do it because I listened to him. And I could show you at least 5 people that have personally told me that because he called it Solana and fudded it so hard, they didn't buy it and they were going to. So when I hear that multiple times, I'm like, okay, this is starting to piss me off now. And then you tell Richard, oh, Richard bought the top of ETH. What an idiot. Yeah, he did that so he could get another 18% of SDI, and then he could go mint another batch of it on some other block. I don't know what he's doing over there, but he's a wizard. And it's like, you don't even see what's going on, so just stop.
It was a leverage play. If you don't get that one, yeah, that's exactly the thing here. He's a little bit too much like, I know what is happening on chain, and nobody knows exactly what's the right decision before you have seen how it plays out. That's probably the best thing about this whole conversation is like, sometimes it's just better be patient than judgmental instantly. And I feel like that was the same thing with the Richard Hart EHEX tweet. And people just go over-exaggerate judging things without taking a step back, looking at the whole picture, thinking about logical connections, and then make a decision. And not just tweet instantly something just to be like, same thing with B-Roots right now. I'm getting a little bit upset with how many people are saying they're going to expose him every month. And I'm like, dude, like this guy has fucking brought adaption to the chain. Why do you have to discredit him? What do you gain out of it? You know, because you want your tokens to pump, and that's more important than like sabotaging the guy who's fucking to Donald Trump talking in a meetup. What are you guys doing? You know, and I'm not a Trump head, but I respect, again, free markets. I'm a person who likes free markets. It doesn't like that the government is just regulating everything for their purpose, for the politicians to make their money and not us. So in that case, yeah, I'm agreeing more with Republicans. On that case, 100%. I'm German. I can't even vote in the States, so I don't have a play in this. I'm just saying, like, this guy actually has done networking with really important people that, again, can do networking. And why are people, like, right now hating him so much? Because he has recommended a couple of plays that didn't work. Did he develop them? No. He got paid to shield them? Yes, he said it.
Right.
You said it in your face.
Say he got paid money to show, like, don't, like, what he got paid to do it, whatever. But look at where he is now. He could have taken that money and used it for the donations to get it to Mar-a-Lago. Like, who knows? You know, just don't say anything. You know, that's the stuff that kills me about the community. It's like, why? Why do you need to expose him? Everyone knows what he does, and you have to pay for it if you want it. I don't pay for his stuff. I don't need, like, I'm not a bit, whatever. Just ignore it if you don't like it or if it makes you mad. But it's crazy. But you know what? Like, it's in every community. Like, it's in the XRP community, this infighting. You know, it's in a lot of the communities. So I just think very few people are actually making money right now in crypto. This grand illusion that everyone's making all this money and this and that. That is not true. It's very few people. And until that changes and everyone's is making money, it's gonna be tough. But I feel like we're so close, man. Like the Ripple settling. You know, I don't know what Tether. I don't know if they're gonna try to get an audit with Tether, but stablecoin legislation I feel like has to come out here in the summertime. So there's so many bullish things happening that the market we're gonna turn around, and like it happens so fast. Look at every time nothing happens, and then boom, Bitcoin starts pumping or ETH moves up. It has its biggest day in 4 years. I mean, you got to be in this market because all the action happens in 2 to 3 weeks. You could wait 3 years and all your gains come in literally 3 weeks. So trying to time this market, good luck.
Hey guys,
yeah.
Hey guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much for like giving me the opportunity to be here. It was very good what you said, Vibra. Thank you very much for the input. I hope crypto Carla, I hope to see you in Amsterdam.
See us for sure, brother.
Check out KSBtv, right? And
that's how it is.
I have to go now. Thank you very much. And for all the input and stuff. Goodbye, guys.
Peace, brother. Have a good one.
Right. See you later, bro.
Yeah, dude, but like toxicity doesn't bring us anywhere. What brings us anywhere is research, spending time constructively, creating content that's actually teaching people something and is not talking all the time about bullshit that is not really helping anybody. So I feel like we're both on that team, I think, on the team. Let's get the word out. Let's get people educated to make their own decisions. I mean, you're doing that even a lot more professional. You have a company for it. We're mostly doing that to free time on Telegram with the German community. But like, yeah, dude, like I feel like that's the important stuff is to build. And if you will try to onboard people, obviously, it's very important, like you said, is to be diplomatic. I feel like something that happened to me years ago, a good friend of mine came and he tried to onboard me, and it was just so fucking boring. I'll be honest with you. He talked about tokenomics for way too long with me. And it was all like a different language, somebody talking Mandarin to me, and you're just like sitting there like, very interesting stuff, but like, dude, like,
exactly. You're going to tell him what he wants to hear, and then you're not going to do it. And that's the problem these people have. They just go there and they're so excited, but people are just like, dude, what the fuck? What are you talking about right now? And if he had just went there and whatever coin you were into, whatever you were looking at, if he had sat there and chopped it up and been so bullish on whatever you were looking at and been like, yup, dude, that coin's going to do so good. I can't wait. And when you make profits from that coin, take them and put them into Hex. That's the move to make. You would have been like, okay, I'll probably do that. But him just going right to, oh, we're the only decentralized currency. We're the only thing. We're real crypto. It's like, stop. Just, it's so much easier to just, have a conversation, find whatever coin that person likes. And when they make $1 million off that coin, then look at Hex and Pulse Chain, put your profits into there and get them thinking that way. And that's all you got to do.
Great, dude. Great strategy. And that means, again, bringing outside money to Pulse Chain. And that's really what we need. I mean, let's see how the thing goes with the centralized exchange listing. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of centralized exchanges, to be honest. It's not like where I would like to have my money, but fiat on and off ramps are a necessary evil, obviously, until we can pay our rent in a Tropa or in Pulse or in whatever it's going to be, or Herrera or whatever, or Arbitrum or whatever it's going to be. And I'm going to dig in. And if it's not the coin that I have or the token that I have, I'm still going to support it. I also said that to Steven. I'm not jealous of the gains of somebody else. Like for example, an ecosystem in Pulse Chain, like GIF, I wasn't into it, makes 1,000x, 10,000x. I'm happy for these people. I'm not like, oh my God, my asset didn't do it. Now I should discredit them.
GIF sucks. You got lucky. It's like, whoa. It's like, I hear that. I'm like, dude, you made 1,000x. That's awesome. Like, I'm happier when guys in my group make a 10x than when I do. Like, literally, I'm happier when these guys are like, dude, this is the first time I've ever made this much in a crypto. It's like, yes, this is awesome. This is why you got into this. So this is why you came here and stopped following who you were, because you clearly weren't doing it right. And that's what it's all about, is people seeing it and being like, dude, that if it wasn't, if you didn't tell me about this, or if I didn't listen for that, none of this would have happened. And that's what I like. And I might be wrong about stuff, but I'm never going to be lying. Like everything I put out there, like I've done tons of research on, and I truly believe that these are the blockchains that are going to separate themselves in the future. And right now it's just all degeneracy and a casino. But if every coin was valued on its actual utility, Stellar and Hedera and these other ecosystems would be right at the top. So that day is coming, and I fortunately have the ability to hopefully see where these things are going, and we can front run them. And if, as long as you accept these things take time, look at how long Ripple's been fighting for. How long was Jeff Bezos building for in 2000 to 2005 when Amazon went down 95% and just went flat for 5 years? But he was building the whole time and things were growing. So I'm sure if you were there paying attention, the numbers would not reflect what's actually going on. And I feel like that's in so many different places in crypto. Pulse Chain especially is probably one of the most undervalued blockchains out there. I mean, we literally have not moved at all. I mean, it's really bad looking at some of these other ecosystems like Saucer Swap on Hedera, the DEX. It's their PulseX over there. I've been talking about it for 2 years. No one would buy it at a penny, and now it's 10 cents, and people message me about it all the time. It's like no one would touch it when it was at rock bottom, but now that it's pumping, everyone wants it. It's so funny how that works.
Yeah, just what it's like a top. Sometimes it's a top signal. You know what Sticker Guy was saying earlier with I don't know, the service, the person that works in the bank, whatever. When she calls you and asks you about Bitcoin, sell that shit, dude. Instantly, just get rid of it. Don't even think about it. Just instantly with a slippage, whatever.
Dude, like literally, it happens. Like I follow, I watch Ivan streams in the morning, and then I'll watch Crypto Banter just to see what he's doing, because he's like the Kramer. Like he last week was like, I'm sick of ETH. I can't take it. I'm capitulating. I cannot see how ETH is going to outperform Solana. I'm selling my ETH for Solana. I've held it for 9 years. And then the next week he comes on and says, yep, I didn't sell my ETH. Thank God. When I unstaked it, there was a 2-week lockup period, so I couldn't sell it. So I held it, and now I'm bullish, and I'm holding it. And it's like, as soon as he said he's selling it at 3K, I told everyone I know, it's like, this is the bottom for ETH right now. Everybody start buying ETH. Like, go all in right now if you don't have any ETH. And sure enough, within 2 days, the ETF might come out, and boom, it's out a week later. And he's just as wrong. A week before the ETF, he publicly puts a stream out saying he's selling his Ethereum. He's out. And now no accountability, nothing. Like it didn't even happen. It's crazy. Like, I'd feel horrible if I did that.
No, I feel you, but it works with the TikTok generation, I mean, perhaps a couple of people a little bit older, like, dude, like, you just said it last week. You just said you funded me last week. Now you're all in. Like, what happened here, But other people are like, I just watched 1,000 of videos. I completely forgot about that, Like the time spent, the attention span of some people is like so short circuit right now that you can literally tell them opposite things in a matter of weeks, and they're just going to be like, this guy really knows what he's talking about. It's embarrassing too. But again, if you're just a sheep following a big influencer, you're not doing crypto right. Not at all. You're just you're literally just following a YouTuber that has always selfish intentions. Who do you think you're working with? There's no Buddha in crypto. Just to say that, perhaps Steven is. Props out to Steven. Yeah. Here we go. Coexistence, Steven.
Steven's I talk to him all the time. Steven's the man. We have the same birthday somehow.
Crazy shit. That's a pretty nice synergy right there. Like some more than a coincidence. Yeah, brother. I feel like cool stuff. And I also dig the whole combination of mindset behind this whole thing, because it's crypto is cyberpunk. If you don't get that one, you're just doing the mainstream shit that everybody's doing right now, is just buy Bitcoin. Go and buy Bitcoin. If you want that kind of if you want the Matrix, go with that one. But if you try to do something for yourself in DeFi, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't have stocks. Again, I'm not a Maxian anyway. I also said that last week with Steven. If you want to go for gold, if there's a bull top, you want to buy some gold, you want to buy some real estate, you want to buy some real, say in parentheses, real life value. Yeah. I'm all about that. I mean, to be honest, the only really good business, really like good investment I've done until right now, besides crypto, is real estate. Buying in an early stage here in Colombia when everybody was, oh God, Colombia, Pablo Escobar, you're gonna get killed here and shit. And now the real estate went up in 10 years, what, like 100 times the price. You feeling me?
Wow.
Just for being visionary a little bit and having the balls to be here without being like, oh my God, I'm a white European, they're gonna rob me. And so I feel like crypto is the same thing too. Sometimes you have to show balls and go through the bear and be like committed to it if you know it's a good play. Again, not talking about shitting meme coins right now and going the bear on a meme coins. There's no way I would do that, you know. But utility also not gonna go. And you're right. Like, big companies are using already Hereditech. There is stuff that's happening. We need the connection between a real utility blockchain technology and all the like hyped up 99% of the tokens bullshit, like scams, pyramid, Ponzi shit. We want also the tech stuff, because the tech stuff is the real deal that's gonna bring adoption to the whole world. Yeah, Fast Abdul, I'm agreeing with you. And why I'm into Atropa is pretty easy, because I like the tech. I really like the math behind it, the algorithm this guy has built. I'm looking at what his CV is, and that he worked for NASA, and that he fucking coded the cryptographic program for nuclear power plants. And I'm like, dude, yeah, here we go. I'm on that team. Why? Because he's a fucking genius, and not because I'm just trying to shill some coins. And I feel like it's something. I'm again, like, I'm not trying to tell people buy a Tropa at any time and it's just going to do 1,000x right now and PDA is going to peg in 2 months, you know. But look at the evidence for yourself. Check out the decentralized videos, 9 Iron Capital content, Hodlonomics content about that stuff, the Verse content, Stevens content. And if you still have issues yourself and you're intelligent enough and educated enough to research, go and research. And please bring up any argument that shows us that we're wrong, that this guy is not a benevolent, but how's it called, malignant actor. And I'm down to look at it. I'm not like looking like this into a tunnel right now just to be like, oh, this guy's God. He's a new Richard. Now I have to admire him. And I have to say yes to everything he's saying on his IRC chat, you know? It's like, take it a step back and be like, this guy, all right, has good math, has a system that's unique, but you don't have to love him as your father to be successful in crypto, you know? And I feel people took it too far with Richard there too. Richard is a genius, probably one of the most intelligent people in crypto, 150 IQ plus, Vitalik level, definitely. But again, like, he's not the only genius in crypto. He should not be like there's no other people that are really good builders. There's really good devs out there. And because they're not associated with Richard doesn't mean that they're bad people or they not have a good community, like you're saying. Like, I feel like there's several actors. If you look at it now, chains having been built, there is a couple that are decentralized that are not bad, you know, that have done already pretty well. And like, again, I'm not a fudder. I'm not somebody who's like saying buy now any blockchain asset without doing investigation. And I feel like what you were saying about meme coins, that you're not like interested in doing all the research right now, or, you know, like why, and it's a lot of time spent, you're a noob, so to say, to that space. I feel like that about some blockchains, you know, that I have not investigated enough time or like put enough time to it to have a broader picture. So I feel like that's something I always would recommend. You want to go on Arbitrum, you want to go and do stuff on Binance, you want to go do stuff on Solana or on Storage Chain or on Ton or Tron, or get yourself some education before you do that. Don't ape into them only because they're the new shiny thing, but more like Adam did it. First do the research, see what's cheap, what's undervalued right now still, or what's like relative to its potential still undervalued. And the same, like you're saying, like there's some market caps of some tech, of some utility coins, they're still relatively very low to the adoption they can have. Yeah. And I feel like that's the interesting games on the other chains.
And yeah, and that's, I mean, there's there's so much going on. And that's the thing. There's so many chains. I could say the same thing like about Mantle or Blast or so many blockchains that I haven't looked into. You're one person. You can't physically look at 100 different blockchains. It's like you got to pick whatever, however much you have time for, and focus on that. So that's why I've been pretty much Pulse Chain and Stellar and Hedera and a little bit of the XRP Ledger, but more Ripple because I bought into private equity on Ripple because I think the stock is going to be it's going to be the biggest IPO ever, and it's going to do phenomenally well. I mean, it's impossible for it not to. And once you've done the research, you see where it's going, it's only a matter of time. I remember
talking to you. Sorry, continue, please.
Well, we know like it's inevitable. As long as the space keeps progressing, we're going to come to that point where you have right now, people are scared of CBDCs. We just signed the no CBDC act or whatever. Well, that's great. There already is one here, and it's called USDC or USDT. They can freeze any wallet at any point. How is that not a CBDC? It can be frozen. Yeah, it can be frozen out of your wallet. So I don't care what anyone says. That's a CBDC in my opinion. If I post something on Twitter or say something wrong, my account can be shut down from, God knows where. That's crazy. That's a CBDC. How valuable PDI could be, or even the PUSD with Algo and Flex with what Jacob's trying to build over there. Like if we could get one of those, we have 2 shots at a decentralized stablecoin. If one of them works, it's game changing, and people just can't wrap their heads around it. They're in denial. I don't know what it is, but I just can't fade Richard. And I know he's been working on this stuff for years, and he sees the problem that's coming, and he's going to either build his solution and go down swinging, or we all just accept that we can just use these stable coins that can just be shut down at any point, and it's truly not crypto anymore. So I think too the SEC case now with ETH being not a security, how's this case like? What do they have now? Richard sold some sacrifice money or something. I mean, really, this thing is it's got to, I would hope, end this calendar year, and that should be a big help for people coming to the community that Richard Hart is not guilty. This scamming spam guy is actually not a fraudster. So hopefully because I still get all the time when I'm in spaces just listening to stuff or new people, they're like, yeah, Richard Hart, he's the guy that ripped off everybody, right? And it's like, what? Like, it's just shocking me that people still believe this stuff. And it's a majority of the people too, outside the community. If you went around and asked everyone, if you heard of Richard Hart, the people that said, that's the guy that didn't go to court, or that's the guy that is scamming people. It's so crazy. That's that Abdul saying, you better learn how to do math, bro, because that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The math says these stables will never peg. Okay, bro. That shit is, you're so stupid, man. Like, people like you are the problem in this community right here, because you don't do the research. You have no clue what you're talking about. And like, I don't even know, bro. I'm glad I don't have followers like him.
Dude, just go do the research, Pastor Abdul. You're against that?
He can't. He don't have the brain power.
Watch the old streams of
Richard.
He
doesn't have the ability.
He's saying it literally word by word. He's saying, I got a friend who's working for NASA. He's trying to build a P maker copy of Maker. He's saying that word by word.
These guys dedicate their freaking lives.
He wants to have his own stable coin, decentralized. He talks about that shit. There's pure dye. Just look at what Maker just published. Like, how many hints do you need? Like, I'm not trying to diss you, dude. I'm just trying to say, do the research and please come up with what are your criticisms mathematically. Show it to us. Show us the ability you're making to say this is not possible, and let other people argue with it. Don't be don't be so prejudgmental about this thing. Then again, I'm not saying that because I want you to buy a Tropa. I don't care. I really don't care that you're not buying this. I really don't care that you're not shilling it. I'm not trying to shill you this. I'm just saying, judge the tech after really looking into it, and not just like, oh yeah, it's a stable coin out of thin air, so how can this ever peg? I heard that from Crypto Coffee. I heard that from Somi. And you know what they're saying now over this stuff, no? You have listened to what they're saying. They're positive now about it because they've looked into it. And I guess that Crypto Coffee, we can agree, is normally a very benevolent actor for the space. So why would he say it's all right if it's a scam? I just want to hear arguments. I'm tired of this whole like, it's a scam. This could never happen. Oh God, how can you be so stupid? And it's like, yeah, okay, then show me arguments. God, I just don't like to discuss.
How much is being burnt every day?
Yeah. And it's just insane to know, again, it's insane to know how much Maria has in money lying in the Tropa system right now and how he could rock the whole system if he wanted to. And he has not, So what are the arguments to discredit this guy? I'm just feeling like, again, fast after you're building a completely different like protocol on chain that has nothing to do with the technique of a Tropa. There doesn't have to be a competition out of this, I'm very happy if 2Fox is successful. Like, I think it's good for the whole ecosystem. And I don't get the whole hate towards the Tropa system from that many people, but whatever, people like to hate, and I'm really a person who likes to fill my life with hate. I don't give a fuck about hate. I give a fuck about being happy and spending my time in stuff that's constructive. So yeah, just leave this conversation to somebody else.
Somehow PDI went from like a $200 bag to now the biggest bag in my portfolio, worth more than my Pulse and my Pulse X. So I guess it's definitely a scam.
Yeah, it's 100%
scam. I hope 2Fox can do 1/10 of what PDI can do. So meme stablecoins outperforming your coin. That sucks. You're shitting on a coin that's outperforming yours. So that's funny.
If you have a big hex bag, again, it does not mean that it's just, I don't really get this whole, I think like the mentality of having one token before, having hex before, and now having that variety and competition and so on is something that a lot of people really don't have like cope with well, They're always like, yeah, but you're just funneling money out of, it's like, you can put it like into endless legends, just funneling money out of, and you're like, dude, like, you just want to keep it and there's no trading? You think people are just going to ratio trade between 4 tokens and that's it? And that's going to be the chain? No, obviously that doesn't bring anybody into this. Like, we need good tech. And that's why I'm all about the positive tech in Pulse chain. I'm not about shitting shit coins. I don't want to be like, hey, there's this fork of this meme coin now I can invest in, and I'm going to bring my crowd and be like, yeah, no, I bought it first. Now I'm shitting it to you and I'm going to sell it into your face. No. But like where you have to FUD other projects, no, just don't FUD. I really don't need more FUD. I'm not crying about red candles. I'm in a 3x of my whole portfolio because of what? PDI, Atropa, and Teddy Bear. So let numbers speak, If you just hold to the Richard Hart coins, how is your portfolio doing right now? Without being an asshole. Like, you're probably not like very happy about it, or are you? So why are you judging us that are like not like FUDding your stuff, but just be like, yeah, we want to diversify. Is this a religion? Are we a cult? Or is this investment? That's why I'm asking. And for me, it's investment, especially if you want to have whales, bigger players. You're not going to come here and say like, oh yeah, they got a cult followership. They got the culty community. And that's why I want to buy in this. No. It's a part of being like, yeah, there's people behind this. But if it gets toxic, it's the exact opposite. So for me, I'm not going to write in Twitter. I did also a couple of times because I got provoked, to be honest. I was like, this is so much bullshit you guys are talking. I have to answer to this. This is just so ridiculous. But I'm done. I'm not going to talk about this shit in Twitter anymore. I'm not going to comment on anybody who's FUDding or hating or whatever. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to post some technical shit about the stuff that I know. And if people hate it. I don't give a. The rest is, again, there's better stuff to invest your time into. Also for you guys who are doing this, who are trolling, just be happy in life and stop hating, dude. Like, but yeah, Adam, the last question that I had again for you too is like, talking about cycles, no? like, do you think there is a realistic way that it just plays out like all the other cycles before? And even if there's like big money now, Wall Street money into it, is there any realistic scenario where it's really just going to be like all the other cycles again?
I would say 100%. I could make an argument that this cycle is going to be over by January 1st. I could make you an argument this cycle is going to be over a year from the halving. I could make an argument this cycle is going to end exactly like last cycle, around October, November next year. I could make another argument that this is going to be the super cycle that goes into 2026 with all the debt restructuring, the last chance for everyone to make money, yada, yada, yada. So I truly think nobody knows. My gut just tells me everything's lining up exactly like every other cycle, except Bitcoin started pumping early this cycle. So that just tells me we're probably going to end 3 to 6 months earlier. So my gut just tells me like March or April next year, we're going to be over. And I don't know. I very well could be wrong, but it's just, I mean, there's so much time between now and a year from now that if things go bad, wars start breaking, like who knows? This could get bad until the election. We could start pumping, and then a regime change or president change could be horrible for the next, like there's so many things out there. That's why I just roll with it, man. I'm all in crypto right now. I got all my bets placed, and once these coins start hitting certain numbers, I'm going to start skimming off the top and start pulling a little bit out, but I'm probably not going to be looking to sell anything until probably like November this year, until January, February, March next year. I don't think it's going to be a standard cycle. I think people are a lot smarter now, and there's just not going to be like that easy of money to be made where you just buy now and sell then, like every time in the past. I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit different. And I think just everything moving a little bit quicker makes sense. So that's what I'll be looking for personally.
Yeah, I feel you too. I'm a little bit like on the same side because I don't really understand how it would work that everybody knows when the top is, and it's just like, so to say, La Roca Negra, just be like, here, all you guys take your money and leave. Would be happy with your gains. Like, you played the circle well. How? I mean, these people are not in the game to give us money. It's the opposite, They're in the game to take the money of the smaller investor. Like, it's how crypto works too. It's not just like it's like redistribution from the rich to the poor. Most of it's the opposite. It's like small investors that don't know shit pumping the bag of a bigger guy who has money to manipulate markets, who has money to wait. If you're rich, you don't need to get your investment back quickly. People that invested their house on it and they lost 20%, they're eager to sell because they're like, yeah, shit, if I don't pull it out and it drops 80%, I lose my house. So like, it's also like where you're coming from. And I feel like be realistic about it and don't listen to too much euphoria. If there's a point of euphoria, I feel like that's the most important thing, is more like a sentiment more than just hitting a target, because you can never, in Bitcoin can stop at 120, at 150, at 200, at 240. The most, for me, optimistic people say 250, and that's exactly it. And how are you going to know which one plays out? And if you just run away from the 250, you might take a blow off top at 160 or 180, and you just never go up again for years. And you thought, it's just a little blow off top, and now it's like, whoop. The cup and handle never came, brother. It just was the inverse head and shoulder, and it's going down. Sorry, a head and shoulder, and it's going down.
Yep.
Yep.
That's like, it's so hard too. I mean, now obviously this is like almost my second full cycle, like third, 2.5, I would say, but you start recognizing stuff like when Banter was so bearish on ETH and everyone was like, okay, this can't sustain anymore. He's got to start moving. And then a week later we're up, 35% or whatever. And I think there'll be some clear top signals, either with Ripple IPOing, Circle IPOing, some weird ETF that comes out. I mean, there'll be some kind of topping event that I think we'll be able to identify a little bit easier this time around versus everyone just in. But then again, you have 2-3 months of pure euphoria. Everything's pumping. People get so delusional and just completely forget about times like this right now. So
Agree. Another little question here. How diversified are you into Atropa? I mean, obviously you will have P-Dye, Atropa, Teddy Bear, the big ones, but you go down the rabbit hole and like went into all the other layers, like into BFF, no nukes, and so on and so on.
I got some TSFI and some legal, but I had my bags of it, and then we all had all the P-Dye from last summer, and then I started really focusing on Sunny stuff, and I really wanted to try to get 1% of as many of his reflection coins as I could. So I've been really focusing on his ecosystem because I think I don't know what he's doing, man. I just think people don't see it right now, but if they understood it and they saw how much of a no-brainer it was, I don't know. It's just such great exposure to all the PRC 20s. And if Richard does anything with them, his ecosystem pumps. And then a lot of it tied to Pulse too. So I don't know. I've been focusing on that, and I hope I'm right. I don't know. His ecosystem could very well underperform, and I made a huge mistake putting a big chunk into that. But you get some point, you just gotta go against the grain and do something uncomfortable. And I feel like the more uncomfortable situations you put yourself in after doing good research, they end up working out.
I had a contra argument that I was saying in the group. I wasn't funding Sonny's project. I was like just like talking generally about reflection tokens, and I was like, reward and reflection tokens, like if they don't get enough volume over time, it's just sort of suck balls. And if you would have market bought the real token with that money in that moment, you might end up with like 100 times or 50 times or 20 times the amount of tokens if you just market buy them. So that's always an argument against reflection tokens. But I talked to Sonny about it in his group, and I asked him, I was like, yeah, what's the difference with your system to reflection tokens? Because we all know that, let's look at the path of reflection tokens. And it's like, do I want to invest into reflection tokens? Mostly not. But now what I got with Sonny is he went into the liquidity pools with a fucking really good time. So he bought a shit ton of the assets of the PRC 20s and of the Atropa assets when they were dirt cheap, and therefore has a really big part of the liquidity positions, which is a whole different game than most reflection tokens have. Or reward tokens, rather. If it's a reward token, there's two different things. Reflection is the same token you're getting. Reward token, you're getting several or another token for the token you're having. But yeah, I'm agreeing it's a unique system, and I'm eager actually to do a stream with him sooner than later to let him explain his liquidity bonding machine, arbitraging heavily. Because I see that, and I'll be honest, like now props to Mars out there, one of our fellow friends here from KSB. I'm just saying there's a couple of people that have been doing this kind of stuff, with some tokens out there. Some people might not have noticed, but like creating liquidity bondings and liquidity pools and trying to create like webs of where the dexes and the arbitrage bots send through volume, like an echo that just continues and continues and ripples into the system with and stays in the system, at least in a certain percentage, obviously a small percentage, but it builds up over time. So knowing that, like the whole system of like echoing through Sonny's reward tokens, and again, they're also like a spot ETF a little bit, not really spot ETF, but you have a ton of PRC 20s and you're buying one token, let's say A1A, for example, and you're representing all of this bag like it would be a fund. You don't have to buy all of the token yourself, because in the end, if they perform well, A1A is going to perform well for the bonding. So I get these ideas, and I think they're good. And I honestly, until right now, have not heard anything bad about Sonny rugging people or like recommending shit to people. So I think he's a benevolent actor. And we need more people building these systems that are kind of unique because, again, reflection tokens normally suck.
Yeah, bro. And I just know, like, yeah, I gotta give Chris a bunch of credit for it because Chris is constantly in private chats with those guys and, just doing research, figuring stuff out. And he was the one, he's like, dude, I would look at Rewarder. I would look at Inkar. I would look at Pulse Christmas. And he was telling me, like, right when Sonny was launching, he's like, oh, Sonny just launched a new one. Sonny launched a new one. So, I know how complicated these things are. And if it takes me 4 freaking months to even kind of have a grasp of what's going on, I just know the average person tries to look at this as like, I don't even know. I give up. Give me teddy bear. And I think that's what's going on right now. But I just know the way this stuff is set up, like it's only a matter of time. Like his system can't fail from when he started it, the way he set it up with everything burning and just filtering back into A1A and B2B. I haven't been able to find one person that's been able to put a hole in it, tell me why it's not going to be. All I hear are people that are way smarter than me, all telling me why I should own it, and 0 people telling me why not that are on that level. So at some point you gotta, just trust the founder. Like, you believe in Richard, you believe in his products, go listen to Sonny. The stuff's on the blockchain. Listen to him speak. He's always trying to help people. It's like, what's he got? How's he going to benefit scamming people right now? Like, so at some point you kind of got to just stop thinking about the imaginary horribles and look at stuff through a positive light. Like, he's here to build. This is what he does. And he built something great, and use it as an opportunity. Not, you got to be on the best coins that performed for me were the ones that I bought and forgot about last cycle. The things that I bought expecting to do 100,000x on, they did the worst. So I don't know, that's the way it is.
What are your thoughts about Axis and the whole system, like the Axis Alive, the Solid X, the Nope, the Fire, Hexfire? What are your thoughts about that system? I feel like that's one of the bigger systems besides Tangang, Atropa, ECT is definitely that one right now. What are your thoughts? I mean, I honestly personally like Axis, first of all. I think he's a really good TA guy and has been very kind to me personally without like having to, so I feel like from what I know, he's a good guy. I've not really, so to say, I wasn't early in that stuff. So I've not like FOMO bite the top or something, but I'm looking into these assets because I'm looking at the system and I like the tokenomics. What are your thoughts about that? About that system?
I missed the boat on Axis's coin early, but I got into Solid X. And I just think when you have a huge whale behind you, that's something that is probably gonna have a hard time failing. If you have somebody there that is going to support it, that has the money to, I would feel comfortable in that ecosystem. So I like it. I think Axis, he's always been good to me. I stream with him a bunch, and I've never been like, oh, I don't know, something feels wrong. Like, he's such a nice guy, and I try to support people like that. He's always been supportive of Lindsay and everything we do. So I'm a big fan. And with Fireware there behind them, I just don't know how it doesn't do really well. And I think that they're fortunate. And I don't know if that's lucky or whatever, but when you work hard and you do good work, you help people out, people want to support you. So call it luck or call it he deserves it for everything he's done. It is what it is, but I like the ecosystem.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's another benevolent actor in the system that has been building bit by bit this whole they have been building it, several people, obviously. I mean, it's not just Axis there, Crispy and so on. They have been building. And yeah, I mean, just feel like it's what we need, what we really need. And why do I dig Axis? Because he doesn't talk shit about other people too, because he's just technical and positive. And I feel like Is that
Yeah.
too tough? Is that so hard to be like just be like focused on something fucking positive? But even when his coins also the tokens went down pretty hardcore from the top, and he still would be like, yeah, believing in the project, talking about the tech, the tokenomics. Everybody wants to sell the logo for it. You know what I'm saying? But like, not creating crazy expectations neither. And yeah, I'm down for that stuff. Again, I'm personally a little bit missed the boat like you did too. I was like, yeah, already this market cap. Pretty much what turned me off, to be honest, was mostly the market cap. Afterwards, I understood that it's not really that much of a, doesn't say that much, you know? And I was just like, what are we talking about? Billions? Like, this is a little exaggerated from how much it is worth, supposedly, you know? Like, just slightly. It's like the YouTube token of Maria. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but it's like 15 billion or something worth, and there's a liquidity of like $1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
15 billion.
The smallest ratio in LP to market cap in the history of crypto.
With 99% being owned by Maria or 99.5 or something. And when I saw that, I was like, why? One thing that I thought was a little like, again, a conspiracy type of part of the Maria Tropoverse is the one with the C. Did you have normally a limited, how do you call them in English? Like a registered trademark? Yeah, here we go. Registered trademark, you know? I was really like, that was kind of making me wonder when this shit started, that there's tokens coming out with a registered trademark sign, because it just feels like, is this guy patenting stuff already? Like where is this? Is this real life assets? They're just coming afterwards and people don't understand it yet. And, you know, I like to go down the rabbit hole. So I was like, this stuff's interesting. And what's the whole play behind this? Is he trying to tokenize the whole world or what? Like, and then the stuff comes out like prostitution, and you're like, who makes a coin or token called prostitution and then it's suspended in the ticker? Like, that shit's definitely partially freaky. I'm honest. Like, even I'm like, sometimes like, I don't get his train of thought behind it. I'm just like, this is weird but interesting. But definitely also weird, because yeah, I mean, I'm not a 150 IQ math genius, so for me this is also like, I'm trying to grasp what I understand, and then when the rest is like, no idea, dude, this is just like, why? No idea. But there's already several things that make sense to me, and I feel like the tokenization, like we were saying earlier, real world assets, like you were talking in your stream quite a lot about that. What about tokenizing real world assets, putting them on blockchain? That is definitely for me the future. There's not even a question asked. Like, how do I want to sell my house in the future if I'm selling it? Make an NFT out of it, put it up for a certain value and see, you know, like there's so much ways afterwards of tokenizing what you have. If you want trying to sell it, and you can sell it directly without having to go through a real estate firm, you know, like, this is just the beginning for me. I feel like the tokenization of the world is just starting. And it's, I guess, one of the biggest ideas behind Maria for me is exactly that. It's about building a DeFi, decentralized bank that has the possibility, with different law systems around the world that are conformed to this country, that, let's say, like, for example, Emirates, or let's say it's Japan, or let's say it's Australia, different laws, different tokens, different possibility as marketplaces and tokenization. And I feel like that's, for me, the end game, is really like creating kind of a copy of the universe on chain. Sounds a little ambitious, but kind of, that's my take on it.
Yeah, that's, I mean, a new Federal Reserve system is a pretty big task. And I feel like to even attempt something like that, you probably got to do it under the radar almost. But I don't know how that's even possible. But that's where I put my trust in people that are way smarter than me, and I just sit back and I watch and I let them do their thing. And I just, I live my life, and I don't even worry about it. And when stuff comes out, or people, pass on some alpha they just figured out or whatever, then you just kind of sit back and say, wow, if this is really happening, what's next? And it seems to consistently be those conversations.
yeah, I feel like what was like a myth 3 months ago and just a crazy conspiracy theory by some P-die heads now is like pretty much really common sense among people that know about this stuff. And it's like, yeah, I remember when I was looking at PM Pulsex and I saw the logo of DAI stablecoin forked, and I was like, why the fuck does this stuff has a logo? Only RH coins and the stable coins had a logo. Everything else was just a question mark. And from the beginning, when I saw that, I was like, this is weird. This is fucking weird. Just look on Dex screen and what's going on with that. Then I saw Atropa, Googled it, was like Atropa belladonna, a psychedelic used by shamans for thousands of years. If you don't use it, well, you're going to die taking this stuff. And even if you know what you're doing, you might come into like a crazy trance, berserk stuff, like you're beating up people or something. Not recommending you guys to take Atropa as a drug, but like, I was like, I'm an anthropologist, like specialized in alternative medicines. Let's say like traditional medicines, like from indigenous people. So for me, it was like a rabbit hole, very interesting. I was like, Atropa belladonna, why? That not everybody would choose that name. And yeah, that really attracted me. And that's like sometimes like the universe works. It gives you a hint, and if you're interested, you open that door. And if you're curious, you might really look into it. But I'm on the same stage as you, Vibra. I would lie. I would lie if I would say that I did not get most of my information from Nine Iron Capital, the verse, from all these people, because yeah, I'm not a deaf, you know, and you have to be honest about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not only, again, we have somebody in German, we have a couple of people. Now I give props to Koa, Sticker Guy, and Mars. Super capable people. Like, we don't rely just, so to say, on the input of other people, but we are also like, everybody got different talents. And I feel like that's exactly what we need in groups, that we are like pulling in the same direction without like necessarily working exactly on the same project, but more about the same mindset, which is open mindset. Be like honest with your followers, don't sell shit to them, and let's make the whole ecosystem grow. I really enjoyed talking about the whole thing, about like the mindset behind it too. I also think it's really good that you are honest about this stuff. I remember you saying this on stream, saying like, look guys, if you want to learn more about it, I got it from the verse. You know, it's not like I came up with this. And I feel like you credit to who deserves it. Like, in the sense of like, yeah, dude, like, I'm never going to be like, I researched this shit. I did my research about it. And I did my own conclusions, because I'm not just like listening to somebody and be like repeat it like I'm a parrot, you know? Like, I'm trying to have my own mindset.
No, I feel like that. Like, I would feel stupid being like, oh, coming on stream, be like, oh yeah, guys, so this is all this, and then Chris watching, be like, dude, what the fuck? I just told you that shit 10 minutes ago. What? Like, I feel like I wouldn't like. I don't know. It's just, this is not me. So I'm more than happier to shout out everybody that's doing this shit, because I'm glad that they're there. You know, I want to give them the credit. They deserve it.
You know, it's also like being a voice sometimes. No, sorry, please. I thought you were done. But
no,
I mean, it's like you're spreading the word.
Exactly.
And you're not spreading it only that. I mean, you're not just, again, repeating what they're saying. You're doing your own research on other chains too. I know that. And it's not like you're just, so to say, watching the verse and then afterwards make like a reaction video about it, you know, where you're like, that's what he said. And I'm agreeing 100%. It would not be too interesting. But yeah, I've been getting inspired.
Exactly. And, you know, I talked to a bunch of different people, and when a lot of people have very similar opinions, and a couple people just throw out the crazy shit. And I love hearing all of it, because between everybody, it's like they're pretty much all on point, but either someone's missing something or not seeing something. So just the more people you can talk to and just bounce stuff around with each other, you all just grow and learn together. So that's what I'm all about and what I try to promote. So it's
Cheers,
not
brother,
all about just me or.
No, but it's also about you, and you deserve props. And I feel like it's something that Steven said last time, and that I have to agree. You should have more followers for what you have been doing for years now. That's my opinion, at least. And to everybody who's listening from the KSB community, go and fucking subscribe to Vibra Finance, to Adam. Check out his stuff. Watch his streams. It's worth it. He got some stuff that really not a lot of people know about. I've been doing it myself, you know, and I just be like, guys, please support a person like this in the space. The same thing I would say for Steven, I would say for Coach X, I would say for people who are like, that are positive for us, that we want to grow. We don't want to grow. We don't want people to grow that are fucking annoying and toxic. We want people to grow that have good intentions, because that's just going to show who we are as a chain, that we're not a scam chain. Again, we all know that Richard provoked the LTC case. He's not a retard. Like, he was literally asking for it. He was fucking like grinding his ass on some Lambos to get sued, dude. Like how much further are you gonna take it? You know, like, he really wanted this to happen. If you don't know that one, you're naive again. You really think he did that outrage marketing without a reason? You think that would have brought adoption of like big whales? You really think that's was a theory? It was not. This whole thing has been prepared for years. The whole maker thing has been prepared for years. It's all timing. We don't know exactly when what's going to happen, but if you're a believer in RH coins or in other PRC 20s, don't fucking sell the low, dude. Please don't waste your time and your money that you've been waiting now to like exit something that all of these things, they can do some serious life-changing games for you guys. And that's my recommendation for everybody who's listening. Don't FUD yourself out right now, even if it goes down another 30%. For that swing trade, a lot of risk. You know, 30% more, or like you're missing out on a 2x in a couple of days. It's your choice. I wouldn't do it.
Me neither.
One last thing
Zoom
too.
out.
Yeah, zoom out. KSB again, because some people might have come in a little bit later after the show. The events, please support the tour guys. It's going to be great. We really did what we could to get some really competent speakers in all of our conferences. It's going to be very different to see these people in real life, ask your questions, see devs like Maria that have never talked nearly to anybody besides like 24 of people that we know, even if. And yeah, I feel like I'm sad that you're not coming to Amsterdam, honestly. I really thought you might, but I also know you have your life there, and it's not like we can just pop off. Anyway, fly to Europe, so it's going to happen because I'm there. I'm not just taking a trip for Colombia to just be 2 days in Amsterdam. I'm staying 6 weeks, so I got my time. But hopefully in another occasion, dude, I really would appreciate meeting you. And if you're trying to see something different from the landscape around you sometimes, you're welcome, brother. Anytime, yeah?
That's beautiful.
Thanks again for having you, you know, and I hope we repeat this. Like, again, we can be next time a little bit more technical too, whenever we do this again. Like, I would be really interested also in get some projects, analyze them together, look at like the whole structures, look at the history, do a little TA together. So to people from to our community, see your mindset more in a practical, like analytic way. And dude, I appreciate the more than 2 hours you took of your time right now. And man, thanks a lot.
Hey man, you're welcome. Appreciate everything you guys are doing over there with Kaylin and the whole crew, with Abid and Patrick. And we definitely met up with them in Vegas, met them in at the Albany event we hosted, Vegas a couple times actually. So we've seen a lot of the crew over there in person here in the States, but it just right now with the summer vacation and our schedule here, it's not possible to make the trip, but definitely in the future, I know we'll be at a bunch of events for sure.
Yeah, I might come to the States too, depending on how that goes next year. But like, definitely see you in another occasion. And yeah, man, like I said, let's see when we can repeat this and look at some charts and talk some trash too. Laugh a little. It's not all about being serious, guys. It's also about having a good time. I was like, I have to talk to Vibra one time at least on stream, because I've been watching this guy so long and I've been keen on talking and also a little trash talking again, if now people make a video of me talking shit about Tommy, it's all for the love, you know? Like, this is not serious that I'm like, oh, what a piece of shit or something he is. No. He got it the wrong way. What we're doing here is having fun. It's called having fun, talking shit, having opinions, and I appreciate it. So, brother, really, have a good one, and hope to see you soon again.
Yes, anytime you want, just let me know. We can maybe plan something or put some topics together next time, and yeah, definitely do it again.
For sure, brother. And yeah, again, follow, subscribe, Viber Finance. You find him on obviously YouTube, Twitter. You got a Telegram chat too?
No, I'm bad with the socials. Just Twitter and Lindsay's on Instagram, so she does post Viber Finance on Instagram, but just pretty much Twitter and YouTube.
So yeah, check out his content. There's plenty. Just to say, if you look at the library, Adam has some stuff to show to you guys, and yeah, check out his live streams too to get updated about newer developments. So yeah, brother, peace out. I'm definitely gonna write you and see when we can repeat this, like we said, in a, let's say, more like specific way to get some stuff analyzed. And have a great day, dude.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you having me.